welcome. This video is all about how to manage your own grief. As a parent, we're so used to giving all our attention to our children, to all the different roles that we fulfill. We might be working, we might have a partner, we're a parent, there's a house to look after. We don't often give ourselves the time that we need. But now it's so important that you do make sure that you are giving yourself the time you need to manage your grief and to begin to heal. Do not feel guilty. Do not think that it's self-indulgent or selfish, because if you can manage your grief and help you feel better, then you are going to be a better parent to your child. You're going to help them manage their grief better. So the first thing is to know that you deserve love, you deserve kindness, and you deserve making out time for yourself. That's really important. Now, dealing with grief for an adult is the same as dealing with grief for a child. So what I would recommend to you is what I recommend to the children in all the orange videos, but I will recommend them again here. Understanding why you're feeling the way you are is the first step to managing your grief. Grief is so raw and so overwhelming. It fills you up. You can feel like your insides have swollen and there's so much emotion you're about to burst. You can feel like you're beginning to go mad. Your anxiety can be so high. You're worrying about everything. You physically feel scared. You feel so fearful. You can't breathe properly. Your chest hurts. You might feel intense pockets of these really powerful emotions, and then periods of numbness where you just feel bereft. You just feel completely empty and completely drained. And then all of a sudden, the intense emotions come back again. That can feel really scary. Like if you feel like you're not in control of your body, it's very tricky to be in that situation, because it creates a cycle of fear and it creates a cycle of stress, and that's very, very difficult to manage. But when you understand what's happening inside your brain and how that's making your body feel the way it is, it becomes easier to manage. So please go and watch the why is so important to know about the stress response video. It's in the orange section of the videos. I'll briefly touch on it here. Your stress response is what keeps you alive. It keeps you safe. So it is always looking out for danger, but subconsciously. And when it senses danger, it switches on your body to full alert so that you can fight the danger that's there. You can run away from the danger, take flight, or you can play dead by going numb, by pretending that you're dead. These are our three survival instincts. And when your brain senses danger, this kicks into action and your body gets pumped full of different chemicals from your brain to help you get ready to run away, to fight, or to freeze. That is what is creating all the really difficult physical sensations in your body. It's what's making you feel so stressed right now. It's what's making you feel so out of control. Unfortunately, if you have experienced trauma before in your lifetime, whether that was in your childhood, your adolescence, or your adulthood, when your stress response turns on, it's going to turn on at a much higher rate than someone that hasn't experienced trauma before. Trauma triggers trauma. So not only will you be dealing with your grief, you will be dealing with all the other emotions that have been re-triggered by the past trauma. So you'll be feeling things of situations that happened years ago, as well as your grief. So if you understand that, and then you understand that there are things you can do to bring that stress response down, that's so helpful. So the green videos are always for you to manage your emotions and lower your stress response. And that's something that would be fantastic to do with your children. On top of that, there's some very simple things like making sure that you're eating healthily. Part of the stress response turns off our digestive system, and it does that so that the body and brain can focus on fighting, fleeing, or freezing. But when your stress response doesn't turn off because you're grieving or you're experiencing trauma, your digestive system can stay turned off for a while. That is why you might find that you're not hungry, or that you just feel sick. You can't manage the thought of eating. So you might find that you don't eat all day, but then you suddenly eat lots of comfort food because you feel empty inside, and eating crisps or chocolate is bringing you that level of comfort. So if you can try to just think, I'm not hungry right now, but that's my stress response, but I'm going to eat a small meal, and I'm going to make sure it's a healthy one. Okay? If you can make sure you're getting your vitamins, your vegetables and your fruit, you're physically going to start to feel better. Sleeping is really difficult when your stress response is on. Do watch the video about sleep, dreams and nightmares. It's in the orange section of videos. That will help give you some tips and advice on how to make your sleeping easier. Try and get as much sleep as you can. Even if you're not actually sleeping, going to bed at the same time every night is going to be really helpful. Like with the routine for children, bringing some routine and structure into your day is going to be just as helpful for you as it is for your child. Making sure that you have some time to yourself is crucial. So when you're designing that routine with your family, and you're working out when you're getting up, when the schoolwork's happening, when the special time with your child is going to happen, which I talk about in managing your child's grief, after you've given your child that intense dose of special time, that attention and focus, go and give yourself some time to rest. Your child's just had your time. They're going to feel very full up by that and more likely to not interrupt you. Take yourself off somewhere quiet. Go and do some mindfulness. If you can, read, do some colouring, listen to music, do something just for you that is going to help you feel better. I do advise, if you're able to, if there is another adult in the house to look after the children, if you can, go outside, even if it's to just walk around the block a couple of times. But having that time and space and stepping out of your environment is going to be really, really beneficial to your bringing your stress response down and giving you that little dose of nurture where you're not being a mom, you're not being a partner, you're not being a colleague, you're just being you in that time alone. That's going to be really important for you. Now, grieving and managing your grief at normal times is difficult. It can be done. All the things I'm suggesting to you are proven to work. But you have a whole extra layer of anxiety and difficulty which is produced by the lockdown. Ordinarily, advice to someone who is grieving is to make sure they're going out as much as they can, to keep up social contacts, to go to clubs, to go and meet up with friends, to give yourself not only a distraction, but to get love and nurture from our friends, from the things that we enjoy doing. Now, we can't do that in lockdown, and that's really tricky for you, but you can keep a social connection via video calls with your family and friends, normal telephone calls, emails. You might even like to send cards, or find a way to connect, find a way to meet up with people. Sometimes a doctor or a friend might suggest to you going for meeting a group of people that are experiencing the same thing as you, that is outside of your family and friendship group. That can be really helpful. Again, you're on your own, you're not trying to protect anyone else, you're just thinking about yourself. And you're with people that understand, you're with people who have experienced what you're experiencing, and they just get it. Well, you might not be able to physically leave the house to do that, but there are online groups. There is support that you can access. There is free telephone calls to people who are trained to listen, who are trained about grief. There's Crisis Messenger, where you can have text conversations with people. And I will leave the information for that at the end of the group. There is support out there. There is support. And if you feel like you need that, then use it. Asking for help is empowering, and asking for help is admirable. Holding it inside isn't going to help you. It's not going to help your family. Or also, there is a huge extra difficulty that comes with the grieving process in isolation, and that's all to do with funerals. I'll do a separate video on that, but that's just going to add to the level of grief that you're experiencing. Managing this isn't impossible, it's not going to be easy, but it can be done. So, to recap, making a routine. In that routine, setting aside time for you, time for yourself. And remember, that's not being selfish. You need this time to help you, but also to help everybody else. Making sure that you use the help that's there if you need it. Finding out about the stress response and finding out about grief by watching the Orange videos, and watch them with your child. That's going to help you understand that you can begin to manage all these difficult feelings. And in those videos, it goes into more detail about how. So, mindfulness, exercise, healthy eating, all these things are going to help you begin to control the way that you're feeling. As always, all the adults at Earlham are thinking about you and your families, and you are not on your own.